Hi everyone, and welcome to the Libra July 2021 Spiritual Connection reading. This is I Am Illuminated, tarot and meaning-based spiritual coaching services. I am Lauren. Welcome. So all of my content on this channel and on my website are here to help you be able to answer your own I am question so that you can re-engage with life in a more authentic, meaningful, and emotionally fulfilling way. I utilize the Triad of Engagement, which is a coaching tool I've developed that focuses on showing the importance of working with the three basic principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation, and how when you apply them together, they can keep you feeling fully engaged and in flow with the unique energetic imprint of your life. So Libra, let's get right into your spiritual connection reading. So this is one of 3 readings I do for each sign each month. We will be doing a spiritual connection reading, which is this one here, that takes a look at bringing awareness to your unique internal self and then showing how you can connect that to your external environment and basically what you're going to learn about yourself in doing that. And we'll take a look at fear points and challenges and what may be preventing you from being able to live authentically as yourself in the external environment. I also do a love connection reading, which takes a look at how you connect your unique internal self with the unique internal selves of others around you, including your significant others. And then I do a self-connection reading, which is actually a very important reading because this is where we actually get to bring awareness for the month to your unique internal self and any area that really needs to be highlighted so that you can make the most of working with that aspect of yourself. And it kind of ties into the 2 other readings, including the one that we're doing right now. All right, Libra, so let's jump right into your reading. I am going to pull a card to take a look at the energy that you are currently sitting with. So Libra, what are my Libras sitting with right now? My Libras, what's the energy they're in? Oh, it's a great energy to be in, Libra. So we have the 3 of Wands, and the 3 of Wands is a card that denotes kind of waiting for your ships to come in. It's a card that the Wands focus on passion and action, also communication. And there's an element here that I'm picking up on that you guys are kind of sitting in this space where perhaps you have started to reconnect with your passions. Maybe you've done a little work, sown a little bit of seeds, and now you're waiting to see what's coming in. So this is a really good kind of internal energy to be sitting with. I'm going to go ahead and take a look now and pull a card for what your external environment. And when I say external environment, this is where the spiritual part comes in. So when I say spiritual connection reading, we have the Hierophant, which aligns really well with that. I'll get right into this in just a minute here. So when I talk about the spiritual portion of the spiritual connection element here, I'm talking about our external environment in a way where I liken it to destiny. So really the only thing that we can control in our experience of life is ourselves, is our ability to basically make decisions on our own behalf, to then through free will engage with our external environment, which is the seat of our lack of control. This is where change comes in. This is where destiny comes in. And this is where spirit or universe or God or however you see the grand design behind everything. This is where we are called to answer, to step up into our unique place, a calling. And we are then able to bring our unique, authentic selves into engagement with our external environment to be able to utilize our strengths, bring them into our external environment and be able to be of service to the greater collective experience while being able to feel the sense of purpose and place and emotional fulfillment that comes with understanding that. So in your external environment, kind of the seat of destiny, so to speak, we have the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is the number 5 in the major arcana, and it is the card of the High Priest. But it also focuses around the energy of set institutions, meaning this could be religious institutions, political institutions, even cultural, societal, familial institutions that are in place. This is kind of the card of what is. It's the structures that we live with. And sometimes these can actually be internal structures that we create for ourselves and choose to live by. So when I look at what's going on between these two cards, there's an element of you sitting with this energy of expectation and anticipation and readiness for what is coming in. And in your external environment, there's this calling, this kind of clash between this, which can actually denote kind of new energy, change, with the Hierophant, which is what is. These are the standing structures. And sometimes this card can really focus on our battle with wanting to be more of a independent thinker or change maker, and yet we're coming up with kind of the status quo, or what's accepted in society, or what's accepted in our family. And that can create some tension. But additionally, the Hierophant, when you think of the High Priest, there's this level of additional sight of we need, not all structures are bad. In fact, people, the human condition, we really thrive when we have set standards in place, when we have rules, when we have the ability to kind of see the bigger picture of what is. It helps us feel secure. So the beauty of the Hierophant and kind of facing that in your external environment is really about looking at what structures are in place and where you can either build on current structures or where you can help change current structures. And it's, you know, a lot of us, and I know myself personally, I am someone who really has, I think since I've been a little child, really been that kind of pusher, that person who's like, the rules are meant to be broken. And not everyone is like that. I've learned to understand and appreciate the importance of rules. But there also is this element of we can't always just live by the status quo. We can't always just live by, well, this is the way things always have been, because then dynamic and evolutionary change would never happen. The human condition would never evolve. And so I think this is kind of a really, really beautiful energy for the month of July for you, Libras, that you guys are really sitting in this positive kind of anticipatory energy. And I have a feeling with what's coming in with these ships that are going to be coming in, that there's this element of then really coming back out into your external environment and facing any areas that may make you feel challenged or boxed in because of what is, because of the structures that are in place. And this can be, again, even something as kind of lower level tiered as this is what has always been done in your family. And these are the structures. And now it's time to kind of go beyond that. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to pull cards for what I call the void. Now, if you are interested in learning more about the void, I have a couple links to some videos around the Triad of Engagement in my description box. The first video link, which is the visual video link, that one really goes into detail, actually in a visual way. I use a whiteboard and talk about what the void is. But to quickly put that together here, The void is a self-protective barrier that we create as we move from a childhood into adulthood, and as we start to bring out vulnerable parts of our unique internal singular selves into engagement with the external environment. And as we basically experience what we perceive to be negative responses to us attempting to bring out parts of our unique self, we put up protective barriers, or what I call layers of masking. So this can look like you, unfortunately, bringing out some aspect of yourself as a child and others criticizing it or laughing at it. Or perhaps you trying to work with a unique ability of yours, and you fail at your first attempt. And instead of looking at that and thinking, okay, just like in the physical world of learning, like learning how to ride a bike or learning how to do math or, on a mental level, on an emotional and spiritual level, we don't get that kind of push to keep learning. And so instead of continuing to see, okay, well, I failed the first time I brought this spiritual part of myself out, and maybe I didn't get the emotional response and reaction I wanted, I now need to go back, regroup, and try again, and just possibly change a little bit of how I work with this ability of mine. But instead of doing that, oftentimes the first time we fail at something, we hide that part of ourselves. And so as we get older, we have more and more and more instances like that that are based around fear and anxiety and attempting to hide very vulnerable parts of ourselves that are actually being called to be expressed, that we were born with specifically to add to the collective experience, and to help us feel that we have a place and a sense of belonging and a sense of purpose and service. And so what I'm going to do now is pull some cards to see what's kind of sitting in your void. Now, if this void gets too big, what can happen in later on in your adult life is that this is where you can become disconnected from your external environment. This is where, because you are hiding so much of your authentic self, when you're engaging with your external environment, you're literally just going through the motions. It's almost like you become a robot. And unfortunately, when that happens, not only do you not feel any emotional engagement, but also your external environment doesn't get a chance to understand who you are. So this is where we can get into this place where we wonder why in our external environment we're not manifesting what we feel would work well for us. Or we wonder why others don't seem to see us as the person we know we are. And it's because we've hidden ourselves behind this self-protective barrier, this void, that we're not allowing our vulnerable, internal, authentic selves to be seen. Okay, I'm going to pull just a few more additional cards here. Let's see if there's one more card that wants to come out. So right off the bat with the High Priestess, this is kind of your main challenge point here. This is your fear point. That is kind of your first hurdle in crossing the void to re-engage in an authentic way with your external environment. Oh, we have two that came out. Oh my goodness. And okay, guys, so just to let you know, this is kind of like my strange magic deck. It came with repeat cards, and what's strange is that when I go through the deck and I look at it, the repeat cards don't seem to exist, but they come out in my readings. Very strange. I know, it's a little woo-woo. So we have the Three of Pentacles that came out twice, which really, this is going to be the crux. So we'll talk about this in just a little bit. I mean, this is like giant spotlight as to really what the whole theme of your reading is here. And then we have the Ace of Cups coming out with this as an additional message. Okay, so Libra, we have the High Priestess, the Tower, Six of Pentacles, 2 cards, each with the Three of Pentacles, and then the Ace of Cups. So the High Priestess. The High Priestess is a card that really speaks to us being able to understand the concept that all answers lie within. This is a card that really focuses on harnessing that energy of intuition, of confidence in knowing that you can make a decision from a place of just sitting and checking in with yourself and your connection to spirit. Now, where this can get to be a point of fear is when we have become so disconnected from who we are as a unique individual that we have not been connecting to our intuition. In fact, we almost don't know who we are. And in becoming so disconnected from ourselves, we also become disconnected from spirit, from source, from being able to sit quietly with ourselves and be able to check in and say, hey, does this feel right or not? And being able to really tap into ourselves to make decisions. This is where we can end up focusing too much on the external to kind of point the way and not enough on self-confidence. Now, combined with the Tower here, the Tower is a pretty dramatic card in the tarot. It's part of the major arcana as well, and it really denotes destiny or the universe coming in to shake things up when we have not of our own free will decided to make the changes necessary that are needed to kind of liberate us to evolve or grow into the next version of ourselves. And so what happens is the universe steps in to say, look, you've been sitting in this kind of safe place, but you're not growing anymore. You're not seeing the opportunities that were laying out in front of you. You're clinging to a faulty building, a faulty foundation. And so something is going to have to happen to come and shake you up, because even though we've been trying to get your attention in all these ways, you're not budging. And this tends to really focus on our attachment to security of, we will as humans stay in some of the most depressing situations just because there's an element of, well, at least it's the devil I know versus the devil I don't know. And these two are very interesting, because if you really are sitting with the energy of the High Priestess, you would not be suffering through Tower events, meaning that you would be confident and reliant on self instead of having to wait for the universe to come in. You'd be able to anticipate, kind of like here. This is like a lower level. I kind of see the Three of Wands almost as like the lower level of the High Priestess, being able to anticipate what's coming in. Except that this is more on a looking without, and this is more of a looking within. So with these two here, I think what I'm seeing as part of your challenge this month is really stepping back into a place of personal confidence, a place of reconnection. But in doing so, you know that it's going to bring in the Tower. You know that it's almost like turning on the light and being afraid to turn on that light, because you know you're going to see that the room you're standing in right now, where you thought you were safe and secure, is actually falling apart. And this can be a very scary place. It can also be a very empowering place, a very liberating place, where when we step into our own connection with spirit again, and we start to realize that we each have our own unique journey, and that no person can live our life, our journey, our destiny for us. We have to do that ourselves, especially when you're sitting with this beautiful anticipatory energy, kind of being open to what the universe is going to bring in. This is a card of keeping your eyes open for opportunities and combining that with this ability to understand, I have a place and a purpose and a direct connection to spirit, and I can make these decisions by simply just checking in with myself. That facing the tower is not a necessarily scary event. Sometimes it can actually be a welcomed event. Sometimes it can be seen for what it is, the true liberation of, man, I've been wanting to, talk about getting a divorce for a long time, and it may be scary, but now you're seeing the opportunities that can come from leaving a very difficult and perhaps, emotionally taxing romantic connection. Or this can be where you realize that a job, a career path you focused on for so long is not for you. But it can be liberating in that you can actually walk away without feeling guilty because now you know. So, you guys are really battling with that energy of knowing, of starting to see the opportunities based from this place of knowing, but your fear point is facing the tower, is that you know that it's going to bring in a change. Now, at the center of your reading, we have the Six of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles is a beautiful card. It denotes balance in the physical world. It denotes basically that the universal is kind of you get what you put in. So for all the time and energy that you've put into something, you will get rewarded, that there will be a balancing of that. It's also a beautiful reminder that at any given time, we will be in a position to give to others, and at another point in our lives, we'll be in a position to need help from others. And so it's kind of it's the minor arcana version of the Justice card. It harnesses similar energy of this divine balancing. And Libra, your card in the tarot is the card of justice. You guys are the scales. You are a sign that works with actually the beauty that comes from divine balance. And I think that that's really where if you look at both of these, kind of the two different sides here. So on one side, this is about stepping into, your personal knowing, again, confidence in self, confidence and understanding that you are a unique individual who has a direct connection to spirit. And that in facing that and being reminded of that yes, you're going to have to face some part of your life that you've been clinging to, that seemed safe. If anything, at least it was safe. But now there needs to be a change. But what you're being reminded of is that for all the difficulty that you might have to face here, or if there's something that is of loss, you will get it back on the other side. And what I think is so interesting is that you have 2 Three of Pentacles here, 2 cards each that have 3 of Pentacles that equal the 6 of Pentacles. And what this is stating on this side is that the 3 of Pentacles is a building card. It's a card of being able to have a vision and to be able to build with others. So this is kind of the starting energy, similar to how the 3 of Wands over here is the starting energy of being able to see some type of result of working with your passions. The 3 of Pentacles is being able to see a tangible result of working from a place of building on a new vision. And it does denote working with others. So there is this element of balance between you working and somebody else working. And so it's not all just on you. And we come in, last but not least, down here with the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is beautiful. The Ace of Cups is that divine connection between yourself and Source Spirit. And it's that reminder that your cup is always full through that connection. this is basically unconditional love from the universe for who you are as a unique individual. This can also denote new love and new supportive relationships. And I think with this coming on top of the really big focus, the spotlight here on the Three of Pentacles, which is if you can really face that fear of facing the change, but coming from this place of quiet understanding and confidence, that on this side, the universe is going to give you everything that you need. You are going to be loved and supported. You are going to have others who will help you build this new, better version and vision for yourself in the tangible world. Pentacles are about our physical world. So this isn't about just building on a mental level or capitalizing on a passion. This is about building something new tangibly for yourself and being reminded that this is being graced by unconditional love from the universe. And for some of you, this actually will denote a new love interest, or you being able to really step into the energy of love as you are working with others to build this new foundation. And this new foundation is going to be what allows you to work with the energy of the Hierophant in the external environment. This new energy is really going to be building foundations for things that need to change. Most likely in society, most likely in your family dynamic, and most likely on a global scale as well, because we are really, as a collective human experience, going through a extreme period of growth, but growth through connection. We're all seeming to kind of experience, especially with the pandemic, this element of unity and change together at one time. And so this is leaving large portions of, it doesn't matter where you live, every country is being affected differently. And I find this very interesting myself, just to see how even the pandemic and what's happened, how it's kind of shed light on areas within different countries' cultural setups and political setups and even religious setups, and really shown how there are things that need to change. Things that aren't quite working right. Maybe the education system isn't working right. Maybe the religious situation isn't working right. Maybe the political system needs to be changed. For everybody, it's unique and different. But whatever you're being asked to come back home to, this knowledge of your own importance and sitting with this energy of something coming in for you, you're being asked to overcome the fear of change. Of change that, yes, is going to involve something dramatic, involve an aspect of your life that is what you feel is secure now will feel insecure for a moment. But the universe is reminding you, we're here for you, and this is all for a reason. It's all to rebalance. It's all, we're helping tear down something that's been holding you back from being able to build this beautiful new foundation with others, to step into this place of divine love, to be able to start to work with building new foundations in the external environment. This is a very powerful message right now, Libra. I feel like every one of your readings I've done have just been very powerful. You guys, there's a lot going on with you. Okay, so now I'm going to pull a card down here for the Triad of Engagement. So I'm going to pull a card for curiosity, courage, and contemplation. And we're going to take a look at how, by engaging with the Triad of Engagement, it'll help you navigate across this kind of void of fear and challenges, to be able to help you connect on the way that Spirit is asking you to step up into right now. All right. So let's take a look at what you guys are going to be curious about. So curiosity is the first, got 3 cards that came out right away. So curiosity is the first point of the Triad of Engagement. And this is where we get to engage with the principles of optimism, openness, and receptivity towards our external environment. This is helping to rebuild a bridge across the void of self-protection that we have created for ourselves and which is limiting us from being able to be open and receptive to the external environment. So as we're thinking about that, you guys have 3 cards. We have Door to Romance, which is so funny because it really lines up with this card. We have Deceit, and we have Rest and Rejuvenation. So this is a really interesting spread here. Now the way I'm seeing this is with Door to Romance, I do feel, and what I think is really beautiful actually is that this is the number 33. And the number 33 in numerology is the number of the spiritual builder. It's actually a number that I would align with the Hierophant in the tarot. So there is this element of really stepping into this place of building with spirit. That's really what I'm seeing here, is there's this element of, for all that you will have to lose or have lost, you will have that balanced and brought out and supported by the love from the divine, from the universe. Because you're being asked to step into this place of spiritual building. And there's this element with the Door to Romance that it's not even just new love. Now, for many of you, this is going to be new love. I do feel that very much, that this is either rekindling a romantic union, and we'll actually see when I do your guys' love connection reading if that's the case, but this can be rekindling a romance with somebody or being able to build something new that will bring in somebody new. And I also get this feeling of an element of opening the door to romance in your life. Not just a romantic, as we think about, us with a partner, but door to the romance, the beauty of life. Understanding and seeing that what we're building now is not based on old fears, not based on old paradigms, but instead based on what you see for the future, what will come in for you as opportunities. And having the card Deceit in here, now this card for me in this deck specifically, especially when we're working with, all of my readings are meant to bring awareness to the self. And when we're looking at internal energy, I always look at this card as not somebody outside of yourself sitting there, trying to deceive you. This is a card of self-deceit, of where we hold ourselves back, of where we tell ourselves old stories. So when we're thinking about building a bridge on curiosity, of opening ourselves back up, this is really looking at where have you kind of closed yourself off from interacting with life from a place of just kind of romantic awe and wonder? And where have you been holding yourself back through telling yourself that that's either not available to you, or that through clinging to kind of what has seemed, again, kind of your sense of false security, the devil I know, where have you been holding yourself back from, maybe even with a lack of kind of like a poverty mindset? Like, if I have to let this fall down, I might be at the mercy of, having no money or having no resources. And what's beautiful here is that you're being reminded, no, there's a balance. For everything that you will lose, you will gain back. And be a part of building it back better, because you're building it with spirit. Now, Rest and Rejuvenation. I like this card because There's an element that makes me think of the High Priestess with this card. It's an individual with his eyes closed, and he seems to be in connection with spirit, meditating, kind of stepping back into his power. And so there is this quality of, as you open yourself up through the concept of curiosity into what now, like what is coming in for you, and how can you apply that into building a new foundations in this external environment, really tapping back in. Where are you being asked to sit quietly with yourself? Like, where have you not built in that time? So really here, this is kind of to be curious, to build that bridge. It's being open to the romantic side to life again. Being open with an optimistically open heart to building in a spiritual sense with spirit. To moving past self-deceit into being open again as to what will come in based off of the sacrifices you will have to make or have made. And then being curious as to what, simply by building time in for yourself to connect directly to spirit, connect to this place of self-confidence and all-knowing, what will that bring in for you? What will that help bring in for you? Okay, now I'm going to pull a card for courage. So courage is the second principle in the Triad of Engagement. And courage really focuses on our place of personal power. This is where we get to tap into free will, because this is where we get to actually apply courage to make decisions, to take action on our own behalf, meaning from a place of authenticity. This is where we get to make the decision to walk across the bridge that we build with spirit. That we build with curiosity. It's not enough to just build the bridge and look across it. We actually have to we can't expect the universe to come to us. We have to walk towards the universe. That's where free will comes into play with destiny. Destiny can have all the hopes and dreams and plans for you, but if you choose through free will not to interact with it, then those hopes and dreams and special places for you to be of service are never realized. So for a point of courage, we have surrender frustration. It says frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath, center yourself, and regroup so you may approach the situation more calmly. And I think when you're coming from a place of courage, especially when we're taking action, surrendering frustration is a beautiful reminder that sometimes when things don't seem to be working out for us, especially when we're kind of sitting with this energy here, that can seem a little dramatic, or that you guys are sitting with the energy of waiting right now. And sometimes that can create frustration, right? You can see your ships coming in, but you're like, when are they coming in? What's actually going to be on those ships? And if we think about those as, a metaphor for, or an analogy for opportunities, we can possibly see opportunities in the distance, but we're wondering why they haven't hit yet. Or if you choose to take those opportunities, where are they going to lead? And in the waiting, we can become frustrated. And this is where we have to really kind of work with that element of everything in its time. As long as we are aware of ourselves and we are open to interacting and engaging with our external environment, we don't need to be frustrated if things aren't happening exactly in the way that we wanted or exactly in the time frame that we wanted. Sometimes when we're building something, we realize halfway through that, oh shoot, I forgot a step in the process and I'm going to have to undo a few of the steps I've already completed. And I can say from recently having put together a bunch of IKEA type furniture, that can be really frustrating when you've almost completed something and realize that simply because you've missed a step, a few steps back, you now have to undo all this work that you've already put in. But by getting frustrated, if I instead of just simply taking apart a few pieces and making sure that I go back and redo the part that I missed, the step that I missed, I know that I'm building a better, stronger, firmer foundation. Instead of me getting frustrated and kicking the piece of furniture and it suddenly breaks and falls apart, that's definitely not going to help. That will have been a waste of my time. So when we think about taking action here, you're being asked to really see the bigger picture with Spirit. Every time you start to feel this element of it's not happening fast enough, my ships aren't coming in fast enough, I've given up so much already, or I'm facing having to give up so much, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can build this. I don't know what's even coming in. I don't know if I even want to take action at this point. Remember the love of the divine, saying, we're here to support you. Your cup will always be full. Trust us. Come towards us. That's when it's time to just take a deep breath, really step into this rest and rejuvenation, kind of this meditative state to regroup, reconnect with Spirit. And sometimes this can simply be in taking action. We don't always have to be, going. Taking action can sometimes just be making that decision in the moment. When you have the decision, you have the ability to sit quietly with yourself and maybe meditate and connect to Source Spirit, or you have the ability to just do a mundane task like vacuum your house or run to the grocery store. It's one of those things where sometimes deciding to take action to simply check in with self is a better, more prolific action to take to help realign you with what's coming in, to help realign you with what you're building, than if you're just constantly kind of running on empty, if you're just constantly trying to get through all of these tasks. So I think that's also another element here with, really talking about take a breath, center yourself and regroup, that there's this element of really focusing on this rest and rejuvenation component here of, yes, it may be difficult what you're being called up to do, but as long as you can tap back into this place of self-confidence and knowing, it will help you be able to continue to walk confidently towards your external environment. All right, and then our final card, oops, and I just realized I don't have my deck. Let me quickly grab it here. So for our final card, we're going to pull a card for contemplation. And contemplation is an important concept because this is where we get a chance to sit quietly and we get to review the consequences of actions taken. We get to integrate lessons learned. And so this is our point of continued self-education through direct experience. Very important principle because this is also where we get a chance for spiritual and emotional growth. This is where we get a chance to evolve because we're learning from our lessons instead of being held back by a lack of awareness of consequences for our actions and the responsibility we have to learn from them. So let's see, what do we have for contemplation? Oh my goodness, this card has come out for quite a few signs this month, but I think it's beautiful. It says leap. You go first, the universe will catch you. And I think that ties right in with the Ace of Cups. This really, to me, seeing this come out right here, it is almost like this speaks to this, which is the universe loves you. The universe is here for you. But the universe knows that they're asking you to make a sacrifice, to make a change. whether on an internal level or on an external level, but it will balance. It will lead to rebuilding, and it'll lead to rebuilding with spirit from a place of supportive divine love, because you're being asked to help usher in something new, and something which will bring you, ooh, little bug, which will help bring in something of importance on this side, something that will not only benefit you but benefit others as well. So when you're contemplating here, basically contemplation is your ticket back across the bridge, where you get to reconnect with self. When you're looking at the energy that you're sitting with here, which is the energy of anticipation, the energy of waiting for your ships to come in. There's this element with leap, you go first, the universe will catch you. There's an element here of saying, you already know what these ships contain. You already know which ship is yours. Instead of standing up here and waiting, why don't you jump in and swim towards the one that really calls your name? And that's really what I'm getting here. There's something here where you're sitting in anticipation, and there's almost this element of, well, I have these opportunities, but yet maybe you've been sitting for too long, and that's why this tower moment is coming in now, because you've been sitting and watching, and Spirit's giving you a little kick in the butt to say, yeah, there's all these opportunities, but one right now is the one, and you know it. You know which one is your ship. Jump in and swim. We know you can swim. Get a move on it. We want you to be happy. We want you to help be a part of building into the next evolutionary growth for the collective experience. All right, Libra, I'm going to pull a few additional cards here just to see if there's any additional clarifying messages for your energy and the external energy. So let's see if we can clarify the Three of Wands. We have the Hierophant again over here. Very interesting. Let's see if any other clarification. And the Two of Swords, which is actually a card of Moon in Libra. So it's a minor arcana card again that focuses on your energy. So let's see if we can clarify the Hierophant on your external side here. Any clarification cards for the Hierophant? I think the Hierophant coming up on this side is the clarification. All right, let's see here. Any clarification for the Hierophant? Nothing comes out. Any clarification for the Hierophant? Doesn't seem to be. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. So the Hierophant coming up over here with the Two of Swords. Now this right off the bat, this could be a specific message for just a couple of you out there. I'm seeing here with the Hierophant and the Two of Swords that there's an element here of perhaps a union, a romantic union with somebody where you are kind of stuck in making a decision. Now the Two of Swords is a card of basically holding two equal swords, and the woman is blindfolded. And it denotes an element of kind of being stuck in your head and not being able to make a decision because both swords seem to be the same. Now, it's an illusion. In reality, we each only have one sword, our sword of personal truth. The reason why each sword seems to be equal is because in reality, that's the illusion. You're only holding one sword. But we're choosing to stay blindfolded. We're choosing to basically not see something to make a decision, and yet we know. It's actually a kind of the lower energetic level of the High Priestess. And so for just a few of you out there, there's a very specific message that you have been sitting with making a decision about a relationship, most likely about a marriage or a committed partnership, and you know. You know that that something is not right, and that you have not been facing the walking away point. There is something about this relationship that is not right, that needs to come down. Something is going to have to be revealed to you. Now, this could entail rebuilding anew with somebody that you're currently with, or this could entail making the decision to walk away. But either way, you in your heart of hearts already know. That's what the High Priestess denotes. You already know. It's not the illusion. You're basically sitting in the illusion that your heart hasn't already chosen, and so you're kind of in your head about it. So I'm just going to put that out there as a individual message for somebody who needs to hear that. Now, otherwise, for a more generalized message, the Hierophant coming up on this side with the Two of Swords, there's this element of stepping up into the higher version of the Hierophant, which is, I love this depiction of this, which is that it looks like a man opening a box and almost like, seeing the wonder of what's in here. And this kind of denotes the higher vision quality of the High Priest, that you can kind of see beyond. And when we have the Hierophant and we have basically the High Priest and the High Priestess. So this is the feminine and the masculine version of the same energy. The Hierophant is more bringing that energy to the external environment, creating the structures based on basically it's the same connection between yourself and Source Spirit, but one is bringing that energy to the external environment to build externally, and one is bringing the energy internally to help you decide on how to act in relationship to your external. So this is basically almost like helping you become receptive, helping you be able to make the choices that come in from your external environment. And with the Two of Swords here, there's an element of you not wanting to kind of sitting with this energy of, I know where my truth lies in here. I know which ship is mine. But I don't want to, it's almost like pretending to not see the importance of what you know you're being called up to do. And that's really what I'm feeling here, is that there's this element of not wanting to step into the masculine version of this energy of building with spirit. So this month, Libra, it seems like it's a big month. You're sitting with a lot of energy, a lot of very important energy. And I really think that for each one of you, this is obviously going to be very different. What you're building, what you're going to be a part of building is very different. I mean, this could be as simple as building a new foundation for a new family life that is going to help provide stability to children that will ultimately move forward and be of assistance to the greater collective human experience. Or this could be something even more important, where you guys are building something, a new foundation, to change something, let's say in the education system, or to change something on a political level, or to change something in whatever area needs to have something new built. So, Libra, I'm going to leave it here. I hope this has been illuminating. I hope that you each really focus on trusting in spirit, that you are open and curious to reconnecting with romance in your external environment. And through connecting with romance and beauty, it'll help you see the importance of what's coming in and how you can swim towards it and bring it out. All right, if you'd like to book a personal reading or a one-on-one coaching session, feel free to click on the link to my website in the description box below. Otherwise, I hope to see you at your other readings. And if you're just sticking with this reading, I will see you again in August. Bye, Libra.